Greetings. My name is John Gulla, and I was pleased and honored to have been asked by Kevin Graham and Steve Pilch to join them in this project, or as Kevin calls it, project. May be apt given that Kevin and Steve are the pros they are. This effort that we've dubbed the Community and Belonging Project. I spent 35 years in 4 different independent schools: St. Anne's in Brooklyn, Isidore Newman in New Orleans, Riverdale Country School in the Bronx, and then for 14 years I was the head of school at the Blake School in Minneapolis. It was in that capacity that I first met Kevin when I engaged him in Lookout Management to do some survey work on behalf of Blake, and at about the same time that I first met Steve, who was then at Shipley, when he and I, both as school heads, had some active involvement in some similar associations. For the last 10 years, I have been the executive director of the Edward E. Ford Foundation, and it is in this capacity that I've truly come to appreciate much more fully the impressive variety of our world of independent schools. I have visited over 500 schools around the U.S., sitting in on classes, talking with groups of students, talking with groups of teachers, sometimes with parents and with board members, often hanging out in the hallways and dropping in on a lunch table conversation and standing at the periphery of an assembly hall in an effort to try to come to understand the culture of each individual independent school. I was a physics and a math teacher when I began teaching, and I am primarily an empiricist by inclination. That is to say, I reflexively look for patterns. It was my work with Kevin some 20 years ago that first taught me that one of the most predictive factors of a student's success in school, and define success as you will, is something that we can discern through a level of that student's engagement. While I'm a believer that this world of education does not have any one magic bullet, no one size fits all, no one approach works for every child. There is no average child. And all of that is the reason why I think that mission-driven independent schools interest me so. I nonetheless believe that we benefit where possible from data, from patterns that we can see from data gathered from those with whom we work. Data, I think, can be much more reliable than even the most compelling anecdote. So I said yes to Kevin and Steve and expressed a willingness to help them work with schools to gather and analyze such data and provide some insights to schools who agreed to participate, and to the broader world of Canadian and U.S. independent schools. The findings, I think, will confirm truths that most of us already know in our hearts and heads, but even an early analysis of the findings will give some people who are devoting themselves to this work of schools a better sense of how some of the elements of what we do correlate with other desirable outcomes, even if causality can't be established. The greater good, however, I think that may come from this effort, an effort of this sort, which is never an alchemy for success, for that, as I suggested, needs many definitions to accommodate the full range of varied students that we are fortunate enough to serve. But the benefit comes from conversations that this data may spawn within the communities that have participated, and in the broader world of independent schools that may come to know of this work. So I am very grateful to Steve and to Kevin, to all of the schools who had participated, and I hope those of you who come to know of this find it to be worthwhile.